Oh my gosh, guys, $380 and we only spent like $7. That's crazy.
Alrighty, so it has been a minute since I have come to this thrift store, but you never know, and we were on this side of town anyways. We've definitely gotten some good books from here before, so that is what we'll look for. Definitely notice walking right in the door though, there was nobody at the counter, everything was just kind of thrown around. It really looked like the place had come into disarray, and the back room where they usually have all their books, as you'll see right on the other side of this wooden thing here, that back room right there, it had a bunch of stuff in it, literally piled floor to ceiling. So I didn't really know if I was able to go back there. I figured I will look around and see what all they have for books maybe out here, as that's usually what we're going through. Now, of course, if there are some really nice and really nicely priced items that are, in any category, electronics, health and beauty, anything we can sell, if it's profitable, we're going to be, scanning it, looking at it. And then, of course, I do look at clothing. Mainly this time of year, I'm looking for those vintage jackets or the nice Patagonia. I did find some interest in this helmet, but seeing that it's a junior size, it kind of put me off of it. So some of those old helmets can be worth a ton of money. Now, going through here, a little bit of glassware. I'm really looking for Ray Dunn, big name in glassware there. Anything vintage, 60s and 70s art studio pottery, mugs and glasses do very well as well. And just kind of browsing around, seeing what they have. In this section, we actually picked up about 100 of these little handheld UV blacklights that ended up selling really well. I thought this was pretty cool. It's 2005, so I thought it was older, but it's a little wood and fool's gold type statue. Maybe I should have looked that up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should have looked that up. I kind of just set it down. But going back and looking now, it does actually look pretty cool. Now, this cast iron crown was looking pretty cool until I saw they wanted $63 for it. Kind of a weird price, $63. It was like the highest priced thing in the store. And they had it marked as a candle holder, weirdly enough. I don't think that's what it's used for, but it looked really cool. It's all cast iron. Maybe I should have looked into it more. So I did end up asking her here about the book section, and she actually said go ahead and just go back and look. So I come back here and fumble around looking for the light switch, finally end up finding it, end up looking around, and there really isn't much for books. There's a welding book up there that I thought might have been something, but once I crawled back there and got it, there really wasn't anything. There was a couple sets there as well, as you can see, but those weren't worth anything either, unfortunately.
Okay, so in that case, I picked up both of these guys, total price of $5. So they were $3 a piece. I was like, hey, will you do 2 for 5? She said, yeah. So I grabbed both of these. This guy right here is about $32.95. Same with this guy. So these are both about $33. So $66 profit. And we paid a total of $5.30. So that's an awesome start to the day.
Alrighty, thrift store number 2. And I cut the first part out of this just because I walked in the door and this lady wanted to talk about a couple of books that were right there at the front but weren't, they weren't worth anything. Sometimes people see you scanning, they get really interested. They're like, what are you doing? And you tell them I'm looking for books to sell, and they want to start talking about it. So that was the first part of the store. Now we're kind of just going through, and my first scan over, I'm just seeing what looks different. Is there anything that looks out of place? And I did. On this shelf, I missed it. I missed about $200 that I did go back. You're going to see me go back and actually scan, because I will take, a second look through everything. Now, this isn't one of my favorite thrift stores. Honestly, the workers there just aren't very nice, but sometimes there's some really good profit. This is a restore, so mainly just like a hardware store, like a hardware thrift store and home furnishings thrift store, but they do have a book section. They actually have a couple book sections. So looking through here, and I noticed there's a bunch of architecture books on the bottom. Those often do really well. So I'm going to go ahead and scan a few, and we did actually find a few as well. So the ones that we found, I will flip over here on the screen and we'll take a look at. So this first one here, the Japanese Gardens, pretty good on that one. Then we have Architecture in the Shoin style, another Asian architecture book. Another good one there. And this one here, the Japanese Joinery. Now, the cover on that one, I do realize that was a little bit different. That is okay, it's still in a really good condition. It's still the same edition of the book. So if you have a different cover, you want to make sure that one, the listing doesn't actually say different cover. The listing doesn't say a specific cover or a specific year or printing or edition. You want to make sure that you have everything correct, but the cover looks different, but the listing was exactly the same. So we'll browse around. You can kind of get an idea. There's a bunch of stuff in this store. A lot of the time they will actually price to eBay though. Every once in a while you'll see some things that they missed, and oftentimes we can find something. The best hit we ever had here was there was a water purification system for your home. It was brand new. I believe it was called like an eSpring water purification system. We paid up for it. We paid about $350 for it, but it sold for a little over $800 about a week later, so the return on that was really nice. Now this here you're going to see me grab would just be for the house actually here. I thought it fit. I ended up putting it back later when I realized it was too small. But if you were wondering why I grabbed that would be why. So one of the things also that I'm looking for here is new old stock, so items that they don't make anymore that are new, such as a lot of the times you'll find like old doorbells and old chime kits if they're brand new in the box. They're really good. Someone fixing up an old house, they want that new old stock, that new but vintage stuff. And that's why I love this store. You'll find a lot of that here. I've found tools here. I've found very expensive saw blades here that were new in the packaging. So I have done very well here in the past. And I will take a second, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're on mobile, just pop out of the video, hit the thumbs up right under it, as that's the only thing that's going to let YouTube know about our content here, so I definitely do appreciate that as we come up to the next bookshelf here. Like I said, there's about 3 or 4 stations in this store where they have books. Again, I spotted a few architecture books, and we found a few more good ones here. And of course I'll put the prices up on the screen, probably be on the right side of the screen there. This one was interesting, fairly decent price. And then on this next one here, the screenshot I got shows the new price. Used, it's not that much, it's about $50, which is still really good, but nowhere near what that new price was. Now I saw this old trunk, and I believe they had $30 or $40 on it, and some of these trunks can be thousands and thousands of dollars, so I was really interested. Opened it up, and you can see the damage, but I still wasn't deterred. If there's a really good name, a really good brand or maker on this box, it could be big money. So I did look around for it. I ended up flipping it upside down and everything. I couldn't find a maker, so I did just have to walk away on that one. Would have been super cool to find an old trunk of value though. Now there actually was a few pieces of, fairly vintage and antique pieces of furniture, and while I really like them, I don't do anything with them, so you're not going to want to ship them. This box did look cool. Now I know some of these boxes can be really expensive. Some of them are super cheap, like you'll have Bradford Exchange, Franklin Mint, you know, it's just extremely different quality. The boxes may look nice, but in the end they're not worth very much. Now this whole set, I did look it up, if it had all the quarters and everything in it, you know, it was only a little under $100. Maybe it was actually a little over, maybe 110, 120. So they wanted $40 just for the box, and without any of the coins in it, it's definitely not worth it. So again, over here we're looking for new old stock. We're looking for like filtration devices or actual filters for, say, older model refrigerators, things like that. So new old stock is a huge sell. It's a huge win to find it. So just looking around for old filters. You can see there's a few up there on the wall, but nothing too amazing. Like Kenmore, you know, Whirlpool filters, stuff like that. Frigidaire. Some of those filters can be extremely expensive, especially the filters that'll go if you have a fridge like that one that has an ice and water pump in it. Those filters can be big money as well. So we didn't really find much else. I did look at this deep fryer here. Too high of a rank to really do anything with. But all in all, we made it out with a ton of books, which we'll look at right here in a second.
Okay, so we are out of there, and here's the bag, and I'm gonna put on the screen here the last few books that I didn't show you that we got. Almost $400 from the $7 spent. We spent $6.83 for all of those books. That is absolutely crazy. And one of those books I got for Savannah, so really $5.80 is what we spent, and we're gonna get almost $400 returned. That's amazing. Let's hit up the next thrift store.
Alrighty, and final thrift store, here we go. Now this is actually my favorite thrift store. This is the one that we usually get the best hits or the best scores at. They always put out new books, so we can literally go every day and find something new, find something profitable. Let's see what we find today. Now, to be honest, I probably should have trimmed right here out, just walking through clothing. I honestly don't look at the clothing here very much. I really should, but their clothing is very high priced, so I usually grab a cart, get in the door, and beeline it straight for the books. Because there is competition here. I will show up sometimes and there will be other people with a cart full of books already scanned, and I will feel terrible, because this place is just a few blocks, you know, down the road, maybe 4 or 5, so not bad at all. I look in these cases here. Sometimes there are some really nice items for Mercari, what used to be eBay, but we don't do eBay anymore. So now in here I'm looking for, this is an LDS or Mormon store, so what I'm looking for is the Lds Quad Books. Now these are the books that are leather bound. They have like the Book of Mormon and Bible, Doctrine and Covenants, and you know, it's a set of books, but in one book. Those can be really expensive, especially if you find them indexed, you know, like thumb indexed on the side. Now what I'm really doing is, when we first go through, we scan everything, of course, but as time goes on, if you're going to the same local thrift stores over and over again, especially every day like us, you're gonna realize the trends, you're gonna know what you've already scanned. So the reason I'm kind of just, you know, eyeballing everything is I would know, you know, what books were already out, what books just came out, and then I can go through and scan, you know, just those ones, and then I'm not re-scanning something I've scanned consistently. There's a win for you though. Different cover, but same edition, same year. So I'm gonna just note that in the description and keep on going. Again, looking for, as we go through here, looking for silver, of course. Notice it doesn't look like any of that silverware has been touched. Looking for old art studio pottery, art studio ceramics. This was marked like 2011, so not super interested in that. Maybe I should have looked it up as the artist. Could have been, could have been sought after artist, but I didn't. Um, Sometimes I certainly regret that later when someone in the comments lets me know, hey, you skipped right by that. So if you guys see anything that I should have picked up, definitely comment below and let me know I need to go back for it. Now we're coming up here on the right where they have their audiobooks, CDs, and video games. I definitely will always check to see if there is, new video games or new audiobooks, as you can definitely sell those on Amazon. You probably aren't gated in the audiobooks or video games, so. Now I do, of course, skip right past the DVDs. I have not yet gone through the steps to get ungated in those. And here we go, more electronics, random items, looking mainly for Mercari here. Now you can sell a lot of these things used on Amazon. Say you find like old remote controls. Remote controls are a huge market, and it's largely untapped because a lot of people don't even look at the remote controls in thrift stores. Now looking for shoes here. If you want to know exactly how to identify a certain shoe, definitely check the channel, as we do have videos on that, how to identify, or how to find comps for a particular, say Asics or Adidas or Nikes.
Alrighty, well, we only spent about 20 minutes in there. There wasn't really much. We got the one textbook that you saw. We'll pay $2 and get about 43 for it, maybe 45. The only other book we got was this one right here. As you can see, it is part 3. So we already had the other 2 to complete this set. It's about a $40 set for all 3 of them. We paid $2 for this one and $1 for the other 2. Seems like their book prices are going up. But all in all, a really good day. We were out for about 2 hours, and with that, 4, 5, we'll make about $550 gross today. And we spent, let's see, $5 at the first store, $6 at the second, and $4 here. So 15 bucks, $15 into 550 for 2 hours of work. If you hadn't already, hit that thumbs up like button under this video. Just helps YouTube know that there is content here that people might be entertained by or might learn something by. And as always, guys, never stop learning, growing, building, and expanding the limits of what you think is possible for yourself, your family, your business, and your success. I guarantee you, if you never stop expanding that, you will find yourself 2, 3, 5 years down the road so much farther than you ever thought was possible. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.